If I hadn't found God's love, I don't think that I would know how to love anyone. When I was a little kid, I always went to church with my grandma, and it wasn't really anything important. I just was going to be with my grandma, and when I was really young, my grandpa passed away, and that's when I stopped going to church. So I never really knew God. I never knew anything about him, and I kind of went through life not really thinking or contemplating the idea of religion or what it might be like to have a relationship with God. When I was in 3rd grade, my parents got divorced, and it was really hard for me. I was constantly in the middle of their fights. I had to pick sides. Was I going to be with my mom? Was I going to be with my dad? Who was I supporting? And that was a really lonely time for me. I had no one to really go to because everyone was just hurting and sad. I could probably say that that was one of the darkest times in my life, and I was really lost, just not knowing what my future was going to be like or if I was going to be happy again. I basically didn't have my family anymore. I wasn't going home to mom and dad, and it just was hard. So I started going to counseling about that, and for the first time in a long time I thought about church, and my counselor said that I should go to a youth group, and I brushed it off. I said, no, I don't have time to do that. I'm in sports, I'm too busy. I would feel weird going. Now looking back on it, I wish more than anything that I had gone to that youth group, because it probably would have changed my life a lot sooner. But basically for me, things just kind of got worse. I was unhappy, and my dad was constantly surrounding himself with women who just were hurting him and would hurt my relationship with him. I felt like I was constantly in competition with them and that they didn't want me around my father. And for me, it was really hard. When I went into high school, things kind of got harder for me. My dad and I had a really bad relationship. He was constantly surrounding himself with women who just weren't good for him. And, I sort of felt like I was in competition with them. Like I had to be fighting for my dad's attention and for his love. And it was really, really hard for me when I found out that he got his girlfriend pregnant, because she was the reason that my childhood was so hard. Everything that had happened to me that was bad regarding my parents' divorce, led back to her. And for me it was hard because I said that I had a brother coming into this world who I didn't love. And I said that I hated my brother, and I didn't even know him yet. As though when my brother was born, I was probably the happiest I had been in like 5 years. And I was just so amazed at how perfect he was, and I said that this was my brother. I loved him, and I was going to take care of him, and no one was going to hurt him. I was going to be his big sister, and I was going to take care of him. But as time went on, my relationship with my dad still wasn't good. I didn't see my brother as much as I wanted to. My dad had found a new girlfriend, and I had a horrible relationship with her. She didn't really want me around, it seemed like, and I basically didn't have my father, and it was something that really hurt me. When my dad told me that he was engaged to his girlfriend, that was honestly when I was just done. And I said to him that, he hurt me. I didn't understand how he could do this to me, how he could want to marry someone who seemed so against me being around. And I stopped talking to my dad. And I guess that one of my friends must have, seen that I was really hurting, because I got invited to come to Oneighty, and it took me a while to warm up to the idea, but once I went to Oneighty, it was really cool. And I was just surprised at how kind all these people were, and how they acted like they truly cared about me even though they had just met me. And then we started to worship. And it was probably one of the most amazing things that I ever witnessed, seeing kids just fully worship God and to be so at peace, you know, just singing praises to Him. As time went on, I really started to listen at Oneighty, and, you know, my best friend was discipling me. And it felt so great to be growing in a relationship with God. And I just felt like I was sort of doing something right. And I'll never forget, one day I was getting ready to go see my dad, and I was singing songs that we sing at Oneighty, and it just hit me that this is God's love, and this is the life that I've been blessed to have, and it's all because of Him. And I was just crying and, you know, just saying out to God, my whole life is yours. I give it all. You know, have your way. This is all for you, God. After I experienced God's love, I started to just love people around me. And a lot of the hate that I had in my heart really disappeared. I apologized to my dad for, you know, acting immaturely about his relationships, and I told him that I supported him in whatever and that I loved him. And things were really starting to look up for me. I was just happy. I was surrounded by my friends. I had this growing relationship with God, and, you know, I didn't think that anything could stop me. A verse that I always go to when I don't really know what's going on in my life is Jeremiah 29:11. It talks about how God knows everything that He has planned for us, and what we get in the end is going to be unexpected, but it's going to be amazing, and it's going to be completely worth it. And I've learned so much that God has a will for me, and He has a plan, and it's perfect, but I need to listen to Him. And I realized that I looked for love from all the wrong people, and I looked in all the wrong places, when really all that I needed was the love that I have from God. And I don't think I'll ever not have a wonderful relationship with God. I know that I'm so blessed to have everything that I have from Him, and that everything happened for a reason in my life. I'm Sinclair, and I've taken the Oneighty.